So I guess this is it. We are live. This is Junk Wax Genius. It's 10 o'clock on April 17th. And hey, we got a box of 88 Donruss that has sat unappreciated since 1988 or so. So let's figure out what's inside there. We've also got some other packs to break up we'll break it up. We got some Flair. There's some 92 Upper Deck. You know we're looking for weird eyes in there. The old standby 92 Donruss Series 2. Got some 1990 sportflicks. Don't hit the camera. Got some 93 tops. Jeter's in there, I'm told. And that's right, soccer cards. MISL soccer cards. I grew up in Northeastern Ohio in the 80s when the indoor soccer team, the Cleveland Force, was outdrawing the Cavs, the Cavaliers. I mean, the NBA wasn't quite the NBA as it is now, but and the Cavs weren't even the Cavs. Like, we didn't have Mark Price or Brad Daugherty or Larry Nance yet. So there was not a whole lot to the Cavaliers back then, but we're talking like crowds of 19,000 packing the Richfield Coliseum. So just by place and time, I was an indoor soccer fan, and those soccer cards were a big thing. So we'll get to those to break up the variety. But let's go ahead and start the 88 Donruss. We've got puzzle pieces in here. I'm going to set those aside if somebody would like to put together the who is that? Stan Musial. Detroit had the Neon. Detroit did have an indoor soccer team called the Neon. I think it was a different iteration maybe of the Major Indoor Soccer League, or there were a couple of indoor leagues around, especially around the Midwest, like Michigan, Pennsylvania, Missouri, Kansas had some strong teams there. We got Devon White, a Diamond King, leading off here. A checklist. I'm not going to do it to you. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Jim Lindemann, Greg Maddux, nice. Look what I got just for the occasion. Stands. How about that? Tom Prince, awesome batting helmets for the Pirates back then. Thomas Albert Prince. Charlie Puleo, great mustache. Pat Pasillo. Kenta Colvey, shades. That's cool. Eric Nolte, Terry Poole, Steve Lyons, Al Leiter. That's the real Al Leiter, not the one you'd see on the 88 tops. Jeff Russell and his mustache. Chuck Finley, again, mustache. And Rob McClure. We got Maddox. That's a win out of that pack. I'll move these over a bit and see if I can get the camera to settle down on the autofocus here. I've thought about reading the names. There will come like an episode of my dailies when I think, Rob, the last time I came across Rob Opens Wax, I think the last time I came across a checklist was in one of the packs that you sent me, and I didn't want to blow up that thing by making it like an 8-minute episode. But one of these days, I will read all the names, and I will read them as correctly as possible. There's Eddie Williams, rated rookie. There's what the puzzle will look like when it's all put together. Little cheat sheet there, in case you needed to know. Alvin Davis, team MVP. Geronimo Baroa, Damon Berryhill, Bob Melvin, Jay Bell, Todd Stottlemyre, Jerry Royster, Wes Gardner, Will Clark, another stand. And here's the thing. So we've got 88 Donruss. This commemorates the 1987 season. That was the season when Will Clark allegedly read the lips of Greg Maddux. There was a meeting on the mound. Let me get these guys in frame. When they were in the NLCS. And legend has it that to this day, that's why pitchers and catchers cover their mouths, is because Will Clark allegedly read the lips of Greg Maddux and took him deep out of Wrigley Field. So there you go. 88 Donruss commemorating that 87 season when these two had that matchup. There's Rafael Santana. There it is. We're 2 packs in. Guys, we're done. That's the end. That's all. We got it. Jim in Florida, thank you. 52-year-old guy. I'm 47 myself. I would much rather, it's why, like Rob Opens Wax, Basement Collector, why channels like this, in my opinion, are more satisfying to watch than guys screaming about some cracked purple ice refractor 1 of 1, chipped tooth edition, whatever. Mark Langston, Diamond King, and Tim Laudner. Well, I wanted Greg Jeffries. We got Greg Jeffries. We're 2 packs in. I am way ahead of schedule. I think that deserves some soccer. Let's jump into a pack of MISL trading cards. 12 cards in the pack, 110 in the set. So when you go through a box, you're pretty much going to get the whole set a couple of times over. And if you've watched, I think I opened these on April Fool's Day. I opened 2 packs, and of the 12 cards, I think 10 of them were identical between the 2 packs. Tasso Katsukas for your Kansas City Comets. Batata. I love these Argentinian guys or Brazilian guys. Yep, Brazil. All have these nicknames. His full name is Nilito Pinheiro da Silva. Of course it is. John O'Hara, Teddy Kraft, Doc Lawson, Dale Mitchell, Brian Schmetzer, one of the Schmetzer brothers. He had twin brothers, Walt and Andy, that played for the Cleveland Force. There's Ali Kazamani, Michael Brady, Charlie Green, Redmond Lane, Dave McKenzie, and your goalkeeper for the Cleveland Force, Victor Negera. He had a long, distinguished career in the indoor soccer leagues. I think he's wearing a Chicago Sting. No, maybe not. I think he is wearing a Sting jersey in that picture. He is. And yet, now he's on the Force. All right. That was a little break, a little MISL trading card action to break up the 88 tops. Happy birthday, Rob. I see that 46 this Saturday. Anything planned to anything planned to celebrate? You going to open some more of that sweet 70s wax you got back there? Drago Dumbovic was on the neon. I remember him, Chris, as a Baltimore Blast guy and one of those guys I love to hate. I think he was like Yugoslavian or something like that. A lot of the really good players, Steve Jungle, Preki, a lot of those guys had Slavic citizenship and came over here to dominate our indoor soccer leagues. Ken Williams, Jack Howell. There's the Hawk, Andre Dawson, Rob Thompson, Mike Diaz, David Palmer, Kurt Stillwell, Randy Reddy, Ozzie Smith, Glenn Wilson. There's Billy Hatcher, Carlton Fisk, Mike Stanley, Brian Downing, okay, and Mitch Webster. Mitchell Dean Webster, if he's in trouble. I know a lot about the Major Indoor Soccer League. Soccer camps, all that stuff. When you're young and impressionable, a lot of that random trivia just sticks with you. Which it's why I appreciate channels like. So Junkwax Genius originally was a very tongue-in-cheek name, and the whole gimmick of the channel was that I would say every name wrong on purpose. Like the first 100 episodes, I just massively screw up names. And it was a joke for myself, but eventually got tiresome. So here we are. Pete O'Brien. There's Devon White again. Andres Galarraga. Mike Davis. Kevin Seitzer. Brett Butler. I like to see him bunting. Brett Butler should either be bunting or running, in my opinion. Pedro Guerrero. There's Ricky Henderson. Nice card there. Ricky Henley Henderson. I did not know that. Kirk Gibson. Marty Barrett. Rob Deere. Larry Sheets. And Andy Van Slyke, Diamond King. Randy Bush. Willie Upshaw. And Lee Guterman. I would say Jim Tomey's name correctly and Will Clark's name correctly, because those are my PC guys, and everybody else I would just badly screw up. And the first 5 episodes, people thought I was just a raving idiot, but that was kind of the point. And then after about 100 episodes of that, it got really tiresome, and decided to come correct. And it's been honestly more fun more fun doing this. I have not seen George Jetson. I have not seen any of the 88 Leaf. I would love to get my hands on some of that. And I can imagine the collation issues behind quality control back in the day. Greg Cataret or Cataret. Can we settle this? We're in the live break. I come across this guy all the time, and I'm not sure if he's like the French T or if it's hard T. Cataret, Cataret. What do we think? Lonnie Smith, Tommy Hinzo, Jeff Hamilton, Steve Trout, Pat Sheridan, Al Nipper, Dave Stapleton, Jeff Ballard. There's a Billy Hatcher Diamond King, Mark Davidson, Rick Leach, Jerry Reed, and a great mustache, Manny Trillo, Craig Lefferts, and Bob Walk. No offense, Rob Opens Wax. Not going to take pronunciation advice from... No offense. One of these days, I will share back an inspiring quote I got in one of my early episodes. I literally have it framed. Maybe I'll hold it in front of the camera here. I literally have it framed on the shelf behind me from a very well-meaning viewer a little more than a year ago who gave me some great advice. There's George Bell, Dave Hengel, Mark McGuire, MVP. There's Joe Price, Don Mattingly, MVP, Pat Perry, Ron Gant, Ozzie Smith, team MVP. It's an MVP hot pack. We got the Ripken baseball family. And what do I see behind that? Yet another team MVP, Darryl Strawberry. What is going on? Greg Myers, Ed Romero, Domingo Ramos, Donnie Moore, and Randy Myers. This is absurd. Darryl, Ozzie, Donnie, and Mark. It's not new addition. It's the 4 Donruss MVPs we just got out of this one pack. It's ridiculous. What were we saying a minute ago about collation? maybe that's just how they were randomly distributed. Who am I to judge? I'll move them out of the glare. And there he is himself, the base card for our man Mark McGuire. Willie Wilson. I remind myself, keep these on camera. Keep them on camera. Joe Carter, Bob Welch, Bruce Hurst, Gary Ward, Darrell Evans, Paul Molitor, excellent. Fred Lynn, nice career Fred Lynn had. There's Bobby Thigpen. And we've completed the Mark McGuire trifecta here. We got the Diamond King, we got the base card, and the team MVP. Quite a run there for McGuire. Ron Oster, Tom Bernansky, Kelly Gruber, and Phil Bradley round out the pack. But there we go. We got the three marks. So much glare. What's going on here? What can you do? Hi, John. Thank you. I enjoy opening wax packs. I would be doing this anyway, just for my own amusement. And I figured, why not? You know, I was to kind of follow up on what I was saying earlier. When I would seek out things like this on YouTube, it was always like either, it was somebody screaming, just shook, or whatever they say, because they found a hit or they found fire or whatever, and it's some like a Panini card with no team, unlicensed, so there's no team logos. It's all like retired players or prospects, and just was not very satisfying. So I started the channel kind of in response to that, and nice to see you. Thank you. Nice low key. We'll take the time going through the players. We'll mention some things in these live breaks. Plenty of time to mention a lot of things. George Frazier, Bob Welch, Jesse Barfield, Greg Gagne, John Moses. There's Darryl Strawberry again. Dave Martinez, Gerald Perry, Mike Lacoste, John Cangelosi, Rich Goose Gossage, Richard Michael Gossage to his mom and dad, and Paul O'Neill with the Reds. There is kind of a running joke that I'll still do where when I come across a guy named Gerald, I'll say Graird, like Gerald Perry. I'll say Graird. And that's because when I was in high school, I worked with a guy who was trying to get his friend hired. His friend was named Gerald. And on the paperwork spelled his friend's name Graird, like did not know how to spell Gerald. and that just always stuck with me. So it's kind of an in-joke to myself from 1996. Thank you for indulging me through that. We got Jeff Blauser, Frank Williams, Mark Grant, Steve Lake, Jeff Calhoun, Robbie Wine, Bob James, Gino Petrali, Greg Minton, Joe Hesketh, Eric Plunk. I'll say his last name wrong also, and that's more like a joke for my kids. Ken Schramm, Angel Salazar. I can't skip Tracy Woodson. Almost skipped Tracy Woodson. And there's Sam Horn. I would have been very excited to get Samuel Lee Horn in 1988, and less excited to get Sam Horn in 1990. No offense, Sam Horn. You know what, Jim? I'm with you. I don't worry about blowing a ton of money on these cards. They're still worth it to me, even though they're not, I'm not looking for investments. I'm definitely not here to flip. I'm not yelling about complaining about my return on investment. I spent $800 on this box. Spend $20 on 2 boxes of Donruss, pay a little bit for shipping, and have a great afternoon. Here's Jack McDowell. I thought about collecting Jack McDowell. He was an Indian killer when he was with the White Sox and the Yankees, and then he came to the Indians and he sucked. There's Pedro Guerrero, Harry Spillman, Jim Gott, Gary Templeton. So here's another in-joke. The Templetons, Pendletons, anything like that. I'll talk about Cousin Gary Templeton. That is a reference to an episode of Perfect Strangers. Part of your ABC Friday night sitcom lineup. There was an episode where Cousin Larry got amnesia. I can't remember how he got amnesia. Ironically, I forget how he got amnesia. But Balky at one point had to teach Cousin Larry his own name. So there's a scene where Cousin Balky, and you can find it. I'll put maybe the link in chat or something like that, or I'll put in the episode notes here. But it's an episode of Perfect Strangers where Cousin Balky is teaching Cousin Larry his own name. And of course, Cousin Balky is like a hilarious foreigner and can't say anything right. That was the joke, a very funny joke in the late 80s. And Cousin Larry was repeating it after him. My name is Cousin Larry Appleton. So that joke has lived in my brain since I don't know when, but that's the joke. Cousin Gary Templeton. Tom Newell, Tim Tuffle, Dale Murphy, Team MVP, Will Clark, Diamond King, phenomenal. Tony Fernandez, Diamond King, Don August, Joe Table, Jose Mesa, and Mark Thurmond. We're hitting on all cylinders here on our 88 Donruss. You know what? I'm gonna take a little break from that, and we're going to open. Let's do the 92 Upper Deck. We're going to see if we can find a Ted Williams. If you strike out 6 times in a game, that's called a horn after Sam Horn, who struck out 6 times in a game. Are you joking? I did not know that. These are educational, even for me, junk wax genius. There's Rich DeLucia. Scott Terry, Tim Naring, Scott Livingstone. Nice action shot there for Terry Steinbach. Dean Palmer. Pulled him, I think, in today's episode with Studio, really before he took off as much of a player. But just to, in today's game, Dean Palmer would be a billionaire for his either, all power, 2 true outcomes with Dean Palmer. Franklin Stubbs. Here's Devon White. Jose Akendo, cameo appearance there. Ryan Sandberg. Danny Tartable running one down in the outfield. Dave Righetti. Dave Spaghetti. If you're my kids, that's a hilarious joke if I call that guy Dave Spaghetti. There's Ricky Jordan. Ted Wood. Mark Newfield and John Candelaria are 92 upper decks. We didn't see any weird eyes. Weird eyes is a phenomenon where like they're retouching the photos and they make, let's see if I can get it to focus here. It's not going to focus, which makes this explanation even less useful. But there's some retouching that goes on where the whites of their eyes are just like glowing white when they shouldn't be. And it's unnatural and disconcerting. Back to the Donruss. Paul, I'm going to have to take a whiff next time I open 92 upper deck. There's a Roberto Alomar rated rookie. Very excited to get that card back in the day. And there's the man himself, Ryan Sandberg. Talking about Ryan D. Sandberg just a moment ago. There's Wally Backman, Glenn Braggs, Chris Spire, Bobby Bonilla, Marvell Wynn, Milt Thompson, Bill Doran, Jose Akendo, Dick Schofield, Shane Raleigh, Dale Swaim, Eddie Murray. You know, I like to call him two hats. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus here. Can we bring Eddie into focus so that we can see his second hat, his ball cap, and the batting helmet? Trust me, it's there. And Alan Trammell, pretty good pack from 88 Donruss. Rob opens wax, filling in the details. Larry fell down a flight of stairs. Okay, now we know. I'm going to have to revisit the entire episode. Rob, did you know that, or did you have to look it up? If you knew that, we might be even better friends than I would have guessed. There's Rick Shue and his mustache. Gerald Young, nothing. Ricky Horton, nothing. Ray Searage, mustache. Johnny Ray, mustache. Greg Harris, mustache. Mark Grace, rated rookie, nothing. Randy St. Clair, nothing. Luis Polonia, mustache. Steve Balboni, mustache. Matt Young, stubble doesn't count, nothing. Ron Kittle, nothing. John Marzano, nothing. Mike Henneman, nothing. I think Mark Williamson, I'm going to say Bill Schroeder has stubble again for nothing. I'm going to say nothing takes this. This is a game I like to call mustache, beard, or nothing. And based on the outcome of this pack, nothing beats mustache. It's one you can play at home, gang. It's one of the Junk Wax Genius home games. The other Junk Wax Genius home game is just say the names. Jared Slater, thank you for the congratulations. I think Greg Jeffries is probably a lot of the first chase card for many of us. I might be just a little older. For me, it was so 85 Tops was the first full set I got in the interest of the Eric Davis rookie card, with the Dwight Gooden kind of close behind that. And I didn't really know anything about Mark McGuire or any of the other rookies, Kirby Puckett, for example. I was all about Eric Davis going after that in 85 Tops. There's Tim Stoddard, Bill Madlock, Mark Knudsen, Mike Griffin, Fred Manrique, Cal Daniels Diamond King. There's Barry Larkin's base card, excellent. Dan Gladden, Tom Henke, Ken Phelps. Who was calling for Ken Phelps? Somebody was asking for Ken Phelps earlier. We found Ken Phelps and his weird eye black. I mean, it looks like I drew that on with marker on the card surface. I assure you, this is packed fresh. This is exactly how Ken Phelps is pictured in 1988 Donruss. He's going to get a stand of honor. There you go. There's John Farrell, rated rookie. Jim Sundberg, Bill Ullman, Rick Manning. Indians announcer Rick Manning, Dave Dravecki, and Mike Bilecki. Dravecki and Bilecki, no relation. Although their names kind of sound similarly interesting. Just this massive pile on the table. Never mind them. No order, no anything. Paul, finding Will Clark in 2022 Topps in clearance. I don't know that I knew he was in the base series. To limit myself, so I do buy a lot of junk wax. I still do buy modern cards, like the contemporary cards of both Will Clark and Jim Thome, but I try to stick to Stadium Club. I know that, or Allen and Ginter. Those are the two. Stadium Club and Allen and Ginter are both ones that will frequently put either or, sometimes both, in a set. And there's just something about the Stadium Club photography and then the throwbacky feel of A&G that I like. But thanks for thinking of me. I appreciate that. When you see a Will Clark card, you think about the channel here. There's David Cohn, George Bell, Team MVP, Gene Garber. There's one for Team Beard. Mookie Wilson, Kevin Seitzer, Team MVP, Bobby Meacham, Scott Lusader, Roger McDowell, Rick Russell, Kirby Puckett, Team MVP, another hot pack of Team MVPs here. Scott Fletcher, Wadsworth, Ohio's finest, Scott Fletcher, Tim Raines, Tom Nieto, Manny Lee, and Mickey Brantley. I've lost track of how many MVPs we got out of that stack. Raines, Bell, Seitzer, Puckett. There's 4 MVPs. There must be something, the way they were cut, whatever sheet they were on, the way they got distributed, they just kind of all got clumped together. Maybe I'm overestimating the quality control of 1988 Donruss collation. Maybe it was just always garbage. All right, we'll do 2 more packs, and we'll take another variety break. More puzzle pieces. There's Mike Marshall, Willie Randolph, Greg Swindell, Alfredo Griffin, Steve Buechele, Frank White, Sean Abner, rated rookie, Ruben Sierra, would have been a nice one to get in 1988, Tim Wallach, Tony Phillips, Bo Jackson, bang, nice, Pat Tabler, Franklin Stubbs, Don Mattingly, and Dwight Evans and his mustache. We got the Mattingly, we got the Bo Jackson, and me saying, whatever I just said is about as hot as I get when I get excited about a card. I'm not going to scream. I'm not going to claim that I'm shook. I'm not going to yell, let's go. Just not my jam. There are other channels for that. I know you know where you can find them. There's 88 Donruss. One last pack before we take a little breather for variety's sake. Is there a sepia of Will Clark? There is in the brand new Stadium Club, and I think in last year's Stadium Club as well. I don't know if there's a black and white of Will Clark in this year's Stadium Club. I believe there was in last year's. There's Tommy John, Diamond King. Another checklist, another missed opportunity. Don't worry, I have more 88 Donruss to rip. Kurt Ford, Brian Dayette, Brian Fisher, Damaso Garcia, Nick Asaski, Greg Gross, Shane Mack, Jim Wynn, Dave Smith. Kind of forgotten. Dave Smith was like a dominant closer there for a couple of seasons. I mean, 27, 33, 24. That counts as being a dominant closer in the mid-'80s. Kurt Manwaring, rated rookie. Jerry Brown, Don Sutton. He had a Hall of Fame career. So you don't get the full picture when you just look at the back of Donruss and like the recent major league performance, but then you look at the innings pitched. This is not going to focus. Got to get a better camera. Upgrade your camera here, Junk Wax. But believe me when I tell you, 5,195 innings pitched. 5,195. That's wild. All right, little timeout here. Let's do, if I can find a cutting tool, let's rip into the flare. I say rip into it because it is, boy, it's in there. Brick free, and I hope they're brick free because man, this is like hermetically sealed. The plastic wrap on this, we're going to save that one for later. I can't get into it. I can't get into it with my bare hand. So we'll put that one aside. Sorry guys. We'll do some 90 sport flicks. Pop some Dramamine. Things are going to get moving. Robert Springs, we're doing well. Thank you for joining us. We found a lot of good cards here. You know, can't say much is a hit when you're talking about 88 Donruss, but you know, I found Greg Jeffries like in this early on. We had a request for Ken Phelps. We scored the Ken Phelps in his weird eye black. We found some nice cards here. And now we're taking a little break to look at the Magic Motion. I'm curious why by 1990, Sportflicks had gone to only 2 pictures. It kind of takes away from the Magic Motion. Maybe they had to pay like the licensing per photo and decided 3 was too much, and 2, it's still better than 1. There's Scott Bankhead, Mike Devereaux. Should we do we'll do a baseball trivia quiz. I'm going to see if I can cover the answer here. Who was the first unanimous pick for the American League MVP award? Jimmy Fox, Hank Greenberg, Joe DiMaggio, or Lou Gehrig? Who was the first unanimous pick for the AL MVP? Jimmy Fox, Hank Greenberg, Joe DiMaggio, or Lou Gehrig? Travis Durst, if I could pull a Frank Thomas out of 1988 Donruss, I would be the king. The answer is Hank Greenberg, who was unanimous selection for the American League MVP in 1938. I'm not making that up. All right, so we did our trivia. We got Scott Bankhead. Roberto Kelly. Roberto Kelly, the second or the third player. You really need the 3 photos. I mean, the magic of the motion is just so diminished when you only have a couple of those. All right, back to the 88 Donruss. Thanks for being here, y'all. I do appreciate it. I know it's late, especially if you're on the East Coast, but it's been, I think, since October since I've done like a sit-down live rip like this. So trying to do more of it, trying to spend more time, like have some longer things like this in addition to the daily 2-packs. And I don't know, Rob Opens Wax just sprints through those single packs in 60 seconds, and I cannot do it. I tried and could not make it work. So I'm going to stick to 2 in my daily show, and then we'll have some longer things like this. There's Chris Brown, Jeff Stone, John Morris, Manny Hernandez, George Hendrick, Dwight Evans, Diamond King, immortalizing that mustache, Ernest Riles, Carl Nichols, looking like, it just looks cranky, Dan Petrie, Dave Anderson, Joel Skinner. It's another joke. The Simpsons, how Superintendent Chalmers yells at Principal Skinner. That's pretty much for me. Dave Clark, Dave Stewart, Dan Quisenberry. We've talked about this Dan Quisenberry card. I like Quiz as a player, but I like how Brett Butler, and man, with this focus, this is killing me. Dale Mahorsic and Jody Reed. We'll come back to Dan Quisenberry. With Quiz, he should always be pictured pitching in his weird sidearm submarine style delivery, in my opinion, to really tell the story of who he is or was as a player. Because just kind of showing him on the mound like that, like coming out of the stretch, you don't get the full treat of what it was like to watch that guy pitch. Anyway, this has been my soapbox for the night. Maybe I'll get back on it later. Rob says, two photo Mo. There are not enough pictures for the shun. I get it. Steamed hams. That's right, George. Localized entirely in your kitchen at this time of year. Brad Cummins, Doyle Alexander, Renee Gonzalez, Herm Winningham, Ron Hassey. Love it when catchers drag the bunts. Beautiful. And there's focus. Now it comes into sharp focus. Gary Lucas, Ty Gainey, Tom Pegnozzi, hey, Steve Jeltz, Dennis Rasmussen, Rob Nelson, Don Robinson, Darnell Coles, Pete Smith. I hope I'm saying that name right. Pete Smith, and Frank DePino. Soapbox genius. That's great. Chris, I have ASMR channel. I don't know. Interesting idea. I don't know if that's. I might have to make a spin-off channel for that and see how that goes. But I agree. There are some people that do like the sound of the packs opening, the sound of the cards kind of sliding on themselves. 88 Donruss is very good for that because these puzzle pieces leave behind. It kind of gets lost on video, but they leave behind this like puzzle dust was what I would call it when I was growing up. Just little bits of, well, it's like dust. Like you get the gum dust in Tops, you get puzzle dust in Donruss. Chet Lemon, Jim Gantner, Ken Gerhart, Vance Law, Harold Baines, respect for Harold Baines, Gary Pettis, Craig Reynolds, Tommy Herr, Von Hayes, Buddy Bell, John Kruk. And there's Will Clark. We got the base card. So we've got the Will Clark trifecta as well. We got the Diamond King, we got the base card, we got the team MVP. So sitting pretty there on my Will Clarks. There's Tommy Gregg, Ken Griffey Sr., and Keith Moreland. Factory Dust, that's a good name. There you go. God is great. Thank you for joining us all the way from Japan. I really appreciate making the time across time zones to be here. Thank you for the all the supports, all the referrals to the channel. I really do appreciate it, and something I've been trying to do more of, like the exchange I had here with Rob Opens Wax, the exchange with Basement Card Collector, giving some, more shout outs, more mentions, not even exchanging cards, just making sure everybody knows about each other for channels like this. Awesome. Dwayne Murphy, Jamie Quirk, Carmen Castillo, Brian Holton. There's Tommy John, Jim Rice, Willie Hernandez, and everybody gave Chris Sabo such a hard time about choosing the kind of glasses he did. But in hindsight, I think Chris Sabo looked cooler than Willie Hernandez or Ron Kittle or Tom Henke or any of these guys that were wearing like regular aviator glasses. Glenn Hubbard, Diamond King, Juan Berenguer, Senior Smoke, Ernie Whitt, Dave Valley. Little echo there with the M's logo. Always thought that was a cool thing. Bob Dernier and Candido Maldonado was his full name. We keep on rolling through the 88 Donruss. Look who I see on the back. We're going to have another Perfect Strangers reference in about 20 seconds. There's Paul Kilgus, Hubert Brooks Jr., Steve Ontiveros, Bill Pacoda, Andy Allenson, Tim Cruz, Dan Pasqua, Oil Can Boyd, Dennis Ray Boyd, Jay Aldrich, Frank Tanana, or Frank Banana, if I'm reading this for my kids, Jim Dwyer, Bob Sebra, John Pawlowski, Bill Buckner, Dave Meads, and there he is, Cousin Terry Pendleton. Hello, my name is Cousin Terry. All right, we know how that goes. Let's do some more soccer cards. Premier issue, 87-88 MISL indoor soccer trading cards. I've got my eye open for the Kai Hoskevy. Kai Hoskevy is who I'm. Oh, you know what? Let's do a little compare and contrast, because If you were paying attention, do you remember who the very first player I got in my previous pack was? That's the one I just opened. That's the one I opened a few minutes ago. There's Tasso. Yep, Batata again. John O'Hara, Teddy Kraft, Doc Lawson, Dale Mitchell, Brian Schmetzer. Pop quiz. Who can remember Brian Schmetzer's twin brothers? He had two brothers that played for the Cleveland Force. Anybody? Ali Kazamani, Michael Brady, Charlie Green, Redmond Lane, and Dave McKenzie. Almost identical to the lineup we got a moment ago. Dave McKenzie, Redmond Lane, Charlie Green, Michael Brady, Ali Kazamani. There you go. Thanks, Rob, for being a part of it. Sleep well. We'll talk soon. Nice batatas. that almost sounds dirty, George. Am I going into a bad place? Man, I'm really wondering now what's up with all of these packs in this box. Like, are these next two going to be like copies of each other? Because of the 4 packs that I've opened on the channel, they've been like 10 cards in common. 2 of them have had 10 cards in common with the other. And that is so weird. All right. Doc's Cards, thanks for being here. We are going through 88 Donruss. We've got a big pile of hits in as much as you can have hits in 88 Donruss. We found the Greg Jeffries really early on and have just been piling on the wins ever since. We've got the Triple Crown of Will Clark and Mark McGwire, the team MVP, the Diamond King, and the base card for both Clark and McGwire. So that's kind of exciting for me. Alejandro Pena, Neil Allen, Storm Davis, George Earl Davis Jr., and I would ask to be Storm as well. There's Sammy Stewart. He gets, kind of a goofy picture, kind of a unibrow, but sad story about Sammy Stewart. I don't want to go into it, but, I'm sure it's on Wiki somewhere. So look up Sammy Stewart, Major League pitcher. And the guy had a kind of a rough life after leaving baseball. So respect to Sammy Stewart. There's Steve Howe, John Davis, Vicente Palacios, Kurt Wilkerson, Pascual Perez, Rick Honeycutt, Melito Perez, Doug Jones, who, like, even in 1988 seemed like he was 100 years old. And he was 31. All right. Tim Belcher, Bill Gullickson, and Jeff Sellers. Put the puzzle pieces aside. Again, anybody want that Stan Musial puzzle, let me know. Junkwaxgenius@gmail.com. I will box it up and send it to you. No worries at all. Gary Carter, the kid. Nice. Ray Quinones. Again, that echo, the Mariners logo echo. Cool effect. Rance Mullenix. Could have used a lesson from Chris Sabo. Steve Lombardozzi. Paul Molitor, Diamond King. Fred McGriff. Nice. Gary Gaetti. Jesse Orozco, another guy that seemed like he was 100 years old in the 80s. Alvin Davis, Leon Durham, Dion James, Bob Brenly, Sid Bream, Stan Jefferson, and Bo Diaz. Doc, I agree. That rated rookie logo, very nostalgic. I think you might still be able to get the rated rookie logo on a T-shirt. There's a T-shirt company called Homage, Homage. And I buy a lot of my T-shirts from them, kind of soft, vintage kind of feel, but they've got some throwback designs. And I want to say, like, I'm pretty sure they've got like the Topps All-Pro Rookie Trophy logo, and they might have a license for rated rookie. Give them a shot. But I would like to see Donruss. I would like to see anybody get licensed again, honestly. Let's see some competition out there. Let's bring back some heritage brands with the rated rookie logo and that designation, and let's see what we can get, man. More competition is always better, I say. There is in show notes in the episode description a link to homage.com. If you buy using my link, there's a discount and things like that. So, no pressure, but it's there. I'm not expecting anybody to do it, but if you want to go look at the shirts and buy some, you can get a discount, and that code will let them know that I sent you, and then everybody wins. So we got Mike Dunn, Rick Mailer, Dave Parker. Nick Baker says he met a guy once with the last name Belcher and couldn't stop calling him Tim, despite that not being his first name. Nick, do you remember what his first name was? There's Dave Parker, Eric Schau, Todd Worrell, Don Carmen, Denny Walling, Floyd Bannister, Kirk McCaskill, O.W. McDowell, Andy McGaffigan, Mike Gallego, Steve Farr. Oh, here's another classic Junk Wax Genius joke. Steve Farr, Steve Neer, Steve Farr, Steve Neer. Classic. Tom Candiotti and Alex Trevino finish out our 88 Donruss. Let's go ahead and do. You've been here. Okay. So Nick says, weirdly, I shouldn't say, but it ain't Tim. All right. So we just have to start guessing names until we hit on one, and maybe Nick Baker will confess. Here's our 93 Series 1. This is the one, new premium quality. Don't sleep on it. There's a Topps Gold baseball card in every pack. This is also where you can find a Derek Jeter draft pick card. I've gotten very lucky out of the lot of boxes, or out the lot of packs that I purchased. Already found 2 of them. I'm not going to get greedy, but any thrill like that would be appreciated. I can tell you right now, it's not going to be Derek Jeter that we get. There's Derek May, though. Tony Gwynn, excellent. Gary DiSarcina. We all know my love on the channel for landscape or horizontal layout cards. Excellent. Is that Kenny Lofton? Is that Kenny Lofton? That might be Kenny Lofton. There's Brooke Jacoby. Doug Jones, again. Our gold card is, who is that? Rick Reed. Rick Reed is our gold card. And then we got to flip them over to get to the rest. Orlando Merced in a cloud of dust. Greg Briley. Jeff King. Joe Hesketh. There you go. Nicely done tops on that layout. JT Brewitt. Jeff Facero. Jose Uribe. Mark Clark. And Bags, Jeff Bagwell. Terrific. Tony Gwynn and Jeff Bagwell out of that pack. I'll take it every time. This was a little bit after kind of the tail end of when I was collecting. I think the only cards I really bought new in 93, like packs, would be Select. That green box of Score Select was just like magnetic. Get Bags out of the glare. There we go. Back to the 88 Donruss. Chris, I don't know if they're okay. Looks like Doc's cards answered that question about the rated rookie logo still appearing. Check the back on that Uribe. Jose Uribe. Is there a version with Juan? As Jose Gonzalez, he entered Pro Ball. No. Let's check. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus on his date of birth. (1/21/59). I don't know. I'm not going to bait eBay with like rare error card, no dot after INC and all that ridiculousness. Not for me. Just not for me. I understand guys are trying to make some money, but man, grasping desperately. There's Howard Johnson, Bill Wilkinson, Roy Smalley, Dwayne Ward, looking like a mugshot, Andre Dawson, Diamond King, Cecil Fielder, before he was launching bombs, Gene Larkin, Bob Brower. There's the Tim Raines base card, Tony Bernazard, Jim Eisenreich, Mel Hall, Jose Gonzalez, Claudell Washington, and Mike Greenwell. In 1988, I would have been very excited to get this Mike Greenwell card. A little off center, corner, we talk about it on the channel sometimes. Pack fresh does not mean mint condition. Let's see if I can get it to focus. You going to get focus here? Here we go. Yep. Yeah. No way that's a 10, but still. PC, not PSA. That's what we like to say here on the channel. As we rip into more 88 Donruss. Thanks again, everybody, for being here. Fun way for me to spend a Thursday evening. Luis Aguayo, Glenn Davis, Jack Clark, not the Clark we're looking for, Mark McLemore, Ivan Calderon, Scott Fletcher. Again, I think we saw his Diamond King. I thought he was from, we'll have to revisit Scott Fletcher on a future episode. I thought he was from Ohio. My mistake. Nelson Liriano, rated rookie, Casey Candell, Carney Lansford, Steve Sachs, Danny Tartable, Ron Guidry. This would have been an awesome pack in 1988. I would have been excited, not knowing any better. If Donruss says he's a rated rookie, I'm going to put that card aside. That one's going in a binder. Like all the rated rookies when I was 12, into a binder. Yes. Carney Lansford, I knew that name. Steve Sachs, all-star, going into a binder. Danny Tartable, binder. Glenn Davis, binder. Ivan Calderon, probably a binder. Ron Guidry, Louisiana Lightning. Another one of those guys. 22-game winner in 1985. Awesome. Ellis Burks, I would have been very excited. Lou Whitaker, very excited. And Cal Ripken, very excited. I'm still excited this time around to get Lou Whitaker, who deserves more credit, next to Alan Trammell. And Cal Ripken. Cool. I think it might be time for 92 Donruss. Let's do some 92 Donruss. Killanos, go to that LCS. Support that LCS, man. Especially if they're selling old stuff like this, old stock, please support them. I was in a shop over the weekend that's literally tucked. It's like the other half of a gas station here in North Carolina, and the shop itself was full of like guys playing Yu-Gi-Oh or something like that. But not a bad place to spend a couple bucks on some vintage wax and have a nice chat with the guy that owns the place. So please do. I wholeheartedly support and encourage the support of local card shops, especially those that still sell quote unquote junk wax. There's Hector Fajardo, Doug Henry, Jose Hernandez. We'll flip some of these over. Eric Bullock, Tim Spare, Terry Matthews, Paul McClellan, Gary Varsho, Chris Gwynn, Glenn Davis, there he is again, Stan Royer, nice action shot, kind of, Dave Valley, Jeff King, Joe Orsolak, and Tom Foley. I remember opening boxes of 92 Donruss and just being in love with the combination of the blue and the metallic silver where they had the names. A little more gloss on the cards than they had in 91. 91 Donruss is one of my least favorite of all time, and I try to avoid it on the channel. But then the backs I thought were just so cool. There's a little slight Donruss word mark kind of thing. You can see if I can get the light to hit it. But believe me, there's like a subliminal Donruss back there. The headshots, just gorgeous cards. Love them. All right, back to the 88s. That's what you came for, right? You came to watch me open 1988s. None of this modern stuff. None of this stuff from 1992. Bring me the 80s. All right. I'm getting to it. Classic packs. There you go. The Junk Wax just needed a marketing guy. They just need somebody in the marketing department to give them a classier name. George says 91 scores, $40 a box, 40 plus a box. At the risk of giving away secrets of the channel, if you're on social media, Facebook's got some really good groups for vintage wax, vintage packs, vintage boxes, and relatively speaking, very good prices. So you might need to buy several at a time to make the shipping worth it. But if you can afford to buy 4, 5, 6 boxes in a go and use like flat rate shipping, you can get pretty good per box prices, in my opinion, through some groups on Facebook that I've been able to network with. So we got Calvin Schiraldi leading off that pack, Charles Hudson, Dave Bergman, Mark Clear, Dave Schmidt, Gary Reedus, Ron Darling, Diamond King, Eric Davis, base card. If you watch the channel a lot, and I would imagine you do if you're here, this is not... people don't randomly watch this for an hour. But you should know, I really appreciate Eric Davis. I mentioned before, like his rookie card in 85 Tops was partly why I got into the hobby. Lloyd Mosby, Kirby Puckett's base card again, Jim Presley, Jose Lean, rated rookie, Luis Quinones, Lenny Dykstra, Leonard Kyle Dykstra, and Juan Castillo. Take a little break to get a beverage. And back to it. I am noticing 660 cards in the set here. We are almost all the way through the box, and very little repetition. Pretty good collation here when it comes to the packing, or at least the cards we're getting here in this rip of 88 Donruss. There's Dave Martinez, Gerald Perry, Mike Lacoste, John Cangelosi. So I know we're starting to get into a few doubles here. Rich Gossage, Paul O'Neill, Rick Shue, Gerald Young, Ricky Horton, Ray Searage, Johnny Ray, Greg Harris. There's a Mark Grace rated rookie again, Randy St. Clair, Luis Polonia, and Steve Balboni. So just as I say, we've had pretty good luck of not having a bunch of doubles. I think that whole pack may have even been in sequence a double. Sequencing, though, and collation, things I'm very interested in. We will have some longer episodes where I get into it with, in particular, 87 Fleer. I already know a lot of the sequence of 87 Fleer. I've got some cello packs that we can start to make notes about. And also 1992 Stadium Club. Very predictable sequencing in both of those sets. So I want to rip some of those on the channel and start to really chart it out and share that knowledge back out. There's Mike Heath, Greg Brock, Billy Ripken. Looking at the wrong end of the bat for Billy. When it's on the handle, Billy, what's on the handle? There's Brian Smith, Ken Williams, Jack Howell, Larry Anderson, Mike Fitzgerald, Lester Lancaster. Jeffrey Jordan says he was getting paid in 89 Donruss. That would have been a dream job. Wow. Getting paid in wax. That's awesome. There's Ted Simmons, Jose Uribe, Jose Alta Uribe, Jeff Robinson, Dave Leiper, Terry McGriff, and Wally Ritchie. Kill the Nose. Please do live stream us in the way. Drive safely. Safety first. We want to be talking to you, not about you. But let me know what you pick up when you get out there. We continue to roll through our 88 Donruss. Steve Balboni was like a folk hero in Columbus for his exploits with the Clippers. Okay. I guess good and bad if you're with a minor league team long enough to become a folk hero with them. like the Crash Davis of the Columbus Clippers. Is that what we're talking about here? BJ Surhoff, Benito Santiago, Diamond King, another checklist. You guys are spared. Tony Pena. It's a catcher hot pack. Surhoff, Santiago, Pena. There's Jamie Moyer. Junior Ortiz, another catcher. Zane Smith. Ron Robinson. Tony Gwynn, base card. Excellent. Bruce Ruffin. Alan Ashby. Hey, guys, guess what position Alan Ashby plays? Greg Walker. Lance Johnson, rated rookie. Mitch Williams. And Jack Lazorko. Lazorko sounds like a video game name that somebody made up. No offense to Jack Thomas Lazorko. Sounds like a fake name. All right, we'll do one more pack of Donruss. Then I want to rip a couple packs of soccer cards back to back just to compare and contrast what we get out of them. We'll do them side by side, back to back, all that, so that all the names are fresh in our memory, even if they're not familiar. Yeah, 12-year-old in 1991 getting paid in cards or comics. Yeah, I know which one I would have chosen. My dad would have been pissed at me for coming home with more of that stuff. Mike Aldretti, Al Pedrique, James Steele, Lance Parrish, Ken Daly, Danny Darwin, Gus Polidor. There's our Cal Ripken Jr. Diamond King, Chuck Krim, John Habian, Larry Herndon, John Shelby, Rick Cerrone, Corey Snyder, and Dennis Eckersley. As I see the Cal Ripken Jr. Diamond King, it makes me think, I think there was a rule about you could only be a Diamond King so often. Like, you couldn't be a Diamond King, like, once you were, you needed to wait 3 or 4 seasons or whatever to be one again. So I guess that's, probably why, like, Joe Carter was not constantly the Cleveland Indians Diamond King in the mid to late 80s. Or why Cal Ripken Jr. wasn't always the Orioles Diamond King. All right. More junk wax. We're gonna see who's in these two packs. We're gonna see if they continue the phenomenon of being almost identical to each other. There's Wad Hermes. There's Tasso Katsukas again. You can't see it, but I'm rubbing my temple with my right hand. This is so stupid. Say it with me. Batata, John O'Hara, Teddy Kraft, Doc Lawson, Dale Mitchell. Do we remember that it was Andy and Walter who are Brian Schmetzer's brothers? Ali Kazamani, Michael Brady, Charlie Green, Redmond Lane, and Dave McKenzie. All right. We said we were going to do them side by side. It's starting to get ridiculous. There's John O'Hara, Ted Kraft, Doc Lawson, Dale Mitchell, or fourth Brian Schmetzer, Ali Kazamani, Michael Brady, Charlie Green, Redmond Lane, Dave McKenzie, Victor Nagara, and Jim Schwab. Oh, Lord. So stupid. All right. At least it was really funny to me. If it was funny to nobody else, at least I got a really good laugh at it. We're going to save this flare for last because I need to go get a cutting tool to get through this plastic. So we've got 4 packs of put up there just as a reminder. We're down to our last 4 packs of 88 Donruss. Pull those out of the box. We'll set them aside, and we'll work through them. 88 Donruss, our last 4. Maybe we can get doubles of the Greg Jeffries. I had thought that was a how many cards are in that soccer card set? Jeffrey Jordan asks. 110 altogether. And normally if you got a box, so I opened a lot of it as a kid. If you opened a box, you would get the set almost twice. And as things are going, I opened 4 packs and I got the same like 8 guys 4 times, which is just stupid. There's Mike Fitzgerald, Terry Steinbach again, Charlie Liebrandt, Julio Franco. When we talk about the language of baseball cards, he should always be pictured with that weird batting stance. Mariano Duncan, Wayne Tollison, Matt Noakes would have been a nice one in '88. Wade Boggs, still a nice one. There's Bill Wegman, Terry Kennedy, Alan Trammell's Diamond King, Sweet Music, Frank Viola, Dave Steeb, Scott Bradley, and Sean Dunston. Looking good. Jeff pulled a Piazza out of 1 pack of 93 Flair. Nice one. George, yeah, I agree. I don't think they're definitely not bottom of the box cards on this Donruss carton. I don't know if they ever did. I've got some like an 87 Fleer Solo box that does have some bottom of the box, and I know Topps have them on the bottom or the sides, but yeah, I don't think so. There's Thad Bosley, Larry Parrish again. Nice glasses, Larry. Kevin Elster, rated rookie, would have been a hot one in '88. Bob Brower, Tim Raines, base card again. Tony Bernazard, Jim Eisenreich, Mel Hall, Jose Gonzalez, Claudel Washington, Mike Greenwell, Greg Brock, Mike Heath, Billy Ripken, again, and Bryn Smith. 2 packs left, and then we get into the Flair. Windrunner says he always thinks of that Always Sunny episode. Yep, I think about it too, but there's another Junk Wax guy who makes that joke, and I don't want to. I'll let him have it. There's Rocky Childress, John Tudor, Dave LaPointe, Daryl Miller, Mike Loind, Gary Thurman, rated rookie, Dennis Martinez, El Presidente, Jose Rio, Jerry Don Gleaton, one of my favorite guys to get in Donruss because, we've shown on the back how you often get their real names, like Rocky Childress's real name is Rodney Osborne Childress. Oh, really? You want to go by Rocky instead? All right. And I see Jerry Don Gleaton. I would assume his name is like Gerald Donald Gleaton or something. It's not. Or at least not according to Donruss. His full name is Jerry Don Gleaton. Who knew? There's Mike Devereaux, Jay Buhner, Spike Owen. Nice pose there for Spike. Jim Morrison. Not that Jim Morrison. Steve Kiefer, and Pete Stanachek. All right, we've got 1 pack left. If we're going to get duplicates, could we get another Greg Jeffries? Could we get a second one? We got him so early in the box. I feel like we're due. But then feeling like you're due is like feeling like, playing roulette. Like red hasn't come up in a long time. There's Matt Young, Ron Kittle, John Marzano, Mike Henneman, Bill Schroeder, Mark Williamson, Tommy John Diamond King, another checklist, Kurt Ford, Brian Dayett, Brian Fisher, Damaso Garcia, Nick Asaski, Greg Gross, and Shane Mack. Well, that does it for our box. Thanks for sitting through that. Thanks also for sitting through the ridiculous soccer card collation here. This is just absurd. Just ridiculous. I mean, if I weren't recording it and you guys saw that I had only opened 4 packs, you wouldn't believe it. Or maybe you would, but you just wouldn't care because really, soccer cards? All right. Sit tight. I'm going to get a cutting tool. I'll be right back. We'll open some Flair. All right. Thank you, Fleer, for having the foresight to seal these so well back when you did. And by the way, cutting tool is a fancy name for scissors. So now we can get into it. Yeah, the foresight to seal these up. And I don't know about anybody else who's opened Flair. Do you get bricks of Flair? Do they brick? Like Stadium Club, Upper Deck from this year. Pretty much anything from the early 90s that was glossy is so subject to bricking, but I've never had that happen with Flair. So maybe all the seals were worth it. Let's find out. Beautiful cards, great gloss. I don't fully agree with the use of script. There we go. Randy Johnson. Nice card right off the bat. You go in front of Ken Phelps, bud. Sorry, Ken Phelps. Vince Coleman. Renee Arocha. Our backwards card here for Rob Dibble, one of the nasty boys. Greg Vaughn, Mike McFarland, Paul Sorrento. It's kind of cool. He's looking up at himself there. Nice composition there for Paul Sorrento. Ken Caminiti, Jeff Conine, and Alex Cole. Those immortal Alex Cole glasses. Yeah, the kind of guy where the the Indians brought the fences in because of his stolen base potential. And basically built the team around him, and he never quite lived up to the hype of his first few seasons. But there you go. Nice card to get. I mean, if you only get one hit out of Flair, Randy Johnson. Not a bad one. All right, that's all I got pack-wise. That's all we got. You got your Ken Phelps, George Jetson. You're happy. Quick run through some of the hits from the channel over the last few episodes. Jim Thome Stadium, our studio card. Nolan Ryan from Stadium Club. Pete Rose, 87 tops. There's our soccer card. There's Tattoo, one of the legends of the Major Indoor Soccer League. Cal Ripken studio card. McGuire rated rookie from 87 Donruss. It's an Eddie Murray, 87 Sportflicks. Don Mattingly from 94 Select. Nice card. 86 tops, Ricky Henderson. 86 Cal Ripken. Fred McGriff. This focus is killing me. Note to self, I will upgrade to a better camera next time. There's Fred McGriff. Tom Glavine from Flair. Barry Larkin, Flair. Randy Johnson, 89, Donruss. 87 tops, Nolan Ryan. Jim Thome, that's 93 Leaf. Yep. Bo Jackson, 88 Fleer. Bo Jackson, 91 Upper Deck. Frank Thomas, 91 Ultra. There's Nolan again from Pinnacle. Jim Thome from Stadium Club. More Bo, more Nolan. Ricky Henderson, that's a 94 Flair. Tom Seaver, randomly got a pack of 82 Donruss in a holiday pack, some mystery packs that I did back around Christmas. Got a Tom Seaver out of that one. Cal Ripken from 87 and 85 Paul Molitor. So not everything, obviously, that we've ever opened and liked on the channel, but a couple highlights. There you go. Thanks for being around. I appreciate it, y'all. We'll do more of these, or we'll do them more often. I'll promise you that. In the meantime, please do come back daily for the 2 packs a day, Junk Wax, Genius style. We'll get into some 87 Fleer and 92 Stadium Club. Promise to get into the sequencing, the collation of those. And that's what it's all about. I really appreciate the support of the channel. We did pull our 1,000 subscriber winner. If you haven't seen that video, please do. I haven't seen the winner in attendance yet, or has not yet contacted me, but Jay Weezy, it was like Jay Weezy 864 or something like that. Yep, Jay Weezy 864. If you know him, give him a nudge. I've got this massive box of wax packs that I've been accumulating over the months, and I want the guy to get it. he's the winner. So let's see what happens with that. But thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow with another regular episode. And I don't know what else to say. Thanks for watching. Good night.